kick things off, All-Star Weekend, predictions for the celebrity game.
I can't believe they're still doing this celebrity game.
How many celebrities on the list did you know? Maybe let's
I just know Booby because of...
Who do we actually know?
Okay, we know Booby because of Love and Hip Hop. We watch it every Tuesday. Who else? Tiffany had Quavo on it.
Yeah.
The Peloton guy, I was watching him last night. Alex. Hey boo.
Jack Harlow's in it.
Is he actually?
Yeah, he's going to be in it, yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing Brittany Elena. I really like seeing her and what she does in terms of hosting as well.
Yeah,
Oh, there is a WNBA player, which I think is amazing because obviously we don't get much, coverage. So obviously she's not going to be playing 100%, but her being in that game, I think they should have probably more than one. But
it's good coverage for the women NBA as well.
So we got Derica Hamby.
Exactly, yeah.
She's going to be playing on Team Walton.
Right.
Well, every team Quavo's on is winning.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes, he's got that lifetime NBA contract.
There's no Kevin Hart here to take the
Even if Kevin Hart didn't get MVP, he will make sure he's taking that home with him.
Kevin Hart's probably there
right
now.
Honestly, most likely, yeah. So Tiffany, I wouldn't mind seeing her. I've never seen her play basketball.
No.
She's so hilarious.
Yeah.
But
that's
the
going to
thing
be so funny.
Okay, she's American, right? And she probably grew up playing it. I'm assuming some sort of. Whereas in England, we don't have that much. We're not introduced so much into basketball. It's all about football. I feel like that needs to be incorporated more into British schools.
Yeah.
Well, it's a difference. Like, would you rather play outside or inside? Come on, guys.
Inside, right? Of course.
I'm enjoying basketball. You don't want to be outside with their muddy shoes. Come on.
Like my school, I went to a school. It was deep in Essex, and like I lived in London, so at least I had. And even when I think about that, I think about the layers because in Essex there was nothing going on there in terms of basketball apart from Brentwood Fire. When I found that, I couldn't believe it. But then I live in East London, so even in terms of East London and basketball, it's Newham. But in South, you guys have got so much in South, but that so much is just compared to what I know. And then we know that in the North, there's even more. So it's like, our access to basketball in the UK is just so completely different to America. I completely agree.
Predictions for the Rising Stars games, ladies.
Team Thomas, they've got Sadiq Bey, they've got Anthony Edwards. So any team with Anthony Edwards, they're gonna win.
Any team?
I'm gonna just say
Anthony, he's having a great season as well.
I'm gonna just say Team Worthy because Tyrese Maxey, that's my boy. We were at college together, so it's just like it's different. You know what I mean? Well, we weren't at the same college, but like Team Tai Tai, innit? Shout out Tai Tai.
You've also got Cole Anthony on your team.
He went
Green. So that you got some good stars.
Yeah. I'm going. You said any team with ball on it for me. They've got Dosumi on the team as well, and again, another Nigerian. So I'm
you know what I mean? It's like
you have to.
in a way.
And actually, so when I was younger, another story for me in terms of my love for basketball and actually for 2K as well. Growing up, FIFA was the game, and then when I went to America and I stayed with my cousins, it was like everyone was playing 2K all the time. And my cousin's surname in terms of that family, they're all Dosumus. I don't know if there's a relation, but again, just makes it feel closer to home. Do you know
Let's
what
just
I mean?
say there's a relation. There's a relation.
So we know who's going to be killing us on 2K later on.
I'm going to try.
Ola,
I'm going to try.
For sure. And your predictions?
Same with Ola.
Okay.
What about your predictions?
Yeah, what about you?
I'm going to go with Bulls team.
Okay, everyone's against me. Okay, here we go.
I'm going to go with Bulls team as well. I want to stick to the safe bet. And plus, he's going to be in the main game as well, so I feel like he's going to want to have something to prove. However, we do have Team Worthy.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of players on that team have got a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Especially
That's my team.
Yeah, so I think they're going to want to have something to prove as well. So that's going to be interesting.
Why do you think they've got a chip on their shoulder?
I think Jalen Green, he's got a chip on his shoulder, being a number 2 pick. And then you've also got Cole Anthony. He's always playing with a chip on his shoulder, talking about how he
lives
is underrated in that sense. So I think that's going to be interesting to see all the matchups. Kane Cunningham's playing.
And it's nice to see them healthy as well.
Yeah, he's on Barry's team, so it should be interesting to see how the Rising Stars play. But I do think LaMelo Ball being in the main game is going to have an impact on where we see.
Right.
I don't think he's going to go all out on the Rising Star game, though. I
'cause
think
got
he's
another
going to
game.
save it for the All-Star.
Yeah,
Give us
true.
a snippet, and then the All-Star game is where he's going to go off.
But I guess he's been leading his team, to be fair. So maybe he'll just come in and he'll play a leadership role, but maybe not like 30 points might not be his bag for that game.
That's my problem with Team Thomas, because Ant-Man's going to go off in that game. He's been going off this season.
Ant-Man, he's on the path to be an MVP.
Okay,
That's what he put out
So
as
he's
his
Ball,
goal.
though.
Yeah.
True. So we'll see out of those guys.
It's going to be
who's
interesting
gonna-
this year.
Yeah,
Who's gonna
it's going to be a good
take the
one.
mantle and actually put a stamp on MVP.
But it's actually
Rising
great
Stars.
to like enjoy it and actually talk about it because of like COVID and stuff. Everything's just been so like dead. So now that we're actually having this conversation, like who knew? Was the next time we're gonna have a conversation like this? So it's actually like really good that things are like opening back up in a sense that people are playing fine, like everyone's fine. So it's positive in the world.
Yeah, Shaq was even saying as well, he was like, now we have, there's so many more chances than there were when it was like his time for like Rising Stars and so many different people to be able to show their stuff during this week.
So many
this
showcasing.
weekend. Yeah, and going from like a stripped back version last year to like this, we're now in a position where like we can see so many players we didn't see before.
100%. And you know what? I think also with a lot of the senior players in the league making that transition from being the stars in the face of the league to now LeBron's 37, you're going to have a lot of players exiting. This is now a great opportunity for these guys to say, I'm the next one up. I'm going to be the face of the league, or you know, who's going to make a stamp in the league.
It's like
right
a showcase for the next one up.
Really
and now they've got the G League one as well, the G League game, which is really good for the G League because they've got good product out there, and it's just nice for them to have a showcase as well.
Very much so.
How many years do you think LeBron's got left?
He's still exiting.
However many years it takes for his son to get into the league. LeBron, if it takes 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, LeBron will be out there.
But for a man to invest so much in his body, like I don't think he's leaving any time.
Do you remember when he came to London? Yeah, I remember that. There's a picture going around that's like saying that he like sponsored a lot of us English students. We was like, oh, did he? He's been around.
And it's interesting because his want to get his children into the league, because one thing I love about the NBA is that it's a legacy sport, and like it's family. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't see the same with football. You don't see parents doing everything they can to make sure their kids get in the league, and you don't see that sort of natural learning of their kids to play to the same level. But you see it with the NBA, and obviously looking at how LeBron's doing it versus how Bull's dad did it and how controversial all of his moves were. Actually, you're right. So
controversial, but it paid off.
I mean, for one of the children, we're still waiting for the other one to have the season that he's been talking about.
I mean, he's got injuries, Lonzo. He's been out with injuries. And really well I feel like once he gets healthy and stuff, and then maintains that health, I think he'll showcase that he's better than LaMelo. That's my honest opinion.
Ooh, wow.
Save that for a hot take.
Okay.
Can't wait for the game now.
So now talking about women in basketball, what are some of your own experiences and maybe your favourite WNBA player?
At the moment, I really like A'ja Wilson. I think, you know, she's tall, like I'm tall, and the way she moves, it's like, to me, it's incredible. Like I like watching her. I think she's got a great game, and I'm excited to see where she goes with it.
And what about like your own personal journey at the moment and what you're doing at the moment?
Biggest achievements in basketball, I would say like putting on a GB jersey. Not everyone has the opportunity to represent their country, so given that opportunity is overwhelming and humbling at the same time, and you got to do it with everything you got, like with respect, with fight, with everything. So that's really like cool. Another thing I would say is like going to America. I went to Florida and I played out there. So playing out there and graduating as a student athlete, having the balance of basketball, school, traveling, nutrition, food, it's like, it's really hard. So overcoming all of those, and like, you know, I got on as well and everything. So doing that and graduating, like, yeah, it's like, I'm the athlete who did that.
So for me, I think if I'm thinking biggest achievements, I think it's just getting to that stage where like, because I think when you're growing up and there's not a lot of women in basketball. There's not a lot of women playing basketball in your area as well. Like, I don't know what it was like for you, but you told anyone that you played basketball and they didn't take it seriously.
They said, what? Netball?
Yeah. Everyone thought you played netball. None of the boys thought that you could rock with them until we started doing mixed scrimmages. Like, we're really moving the times in terms of what it's like to play now versus what it was like when we were younger. So I think when I think about achievements, I think about like some of those things that even if you were to tell people, they wouldn't know the magnitude of it, but you do. So like the uni games, the traveling for the uni games, and all of those things there. I guess even thinking about now, it's like the ball outs and the 3v3 tournaments that people really get to see what you've always been about. Because I think there was a lot of doubt in terms of women in basketball, and I feel like now it's on a stage where we're playing in the same places. And you've got the men repping for the girls' teams as well. You didn't have that back in the day.
But what I like about 3-on-3 in ball out and stuff, what I think is great is the fact that it's not politics. It's like everyone's playing. It's not just like England favourites that's there. It's like it's everyone, and it shows that everyone can play and that everyone be training and stuff like that. So I think that's what I like about the ball out situation. Yeah,
and I think to come from that, like that's like what 2017. Yeah, like to be there versus where we were, like when we were growing up playing. It's just it's a completely different world for women in basketball. You can see it with the WNBA and how much they have now, the endorsements they're getting, the sponsorships they're getting. You can see the work that has gone into people taking it seriously.
Well, we now have the WNBA in the game.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And now they've got that $75 million investment that they're putting towards marketing and coverage and just trying to get the game to grow.
But then even with that, like, I think it's great that it's like incorporating in the like digital marketing and fan experience, but I hope it's like it's for the play experience as well, because obviously like they're underpaid, and then like even them traveling to games, it's like it's not the same as the NBA players. So I hope that's incorporated within that investment as well.
Yeah, because like some of the women NBA players be traveling commercial,
exactly,
and it's not fair. But yeah, hopefully like the more the game grows, the more money and revenue they'll be making. So the more you market the league, the more it's gonna grow. So marketing is like, I think is important for the revenue to get money into the women NBA, so then they can provide higher wages. And
I think we're starting to see that. Like, you couldn't imagine this when you were a kid playing basketball.
A decade ago, we couldn't be thinking that this could ever be a situation. So like, it just shows what it works.
Each generation is making it easier for the next.
Even like when I started watching the NBA, I never saw like a woman like on a panel. Now we've got Candace Parker, she's always on like TNT. So it's just like seeing that, like as someone who watches it, it shows like that you can be amongst your male counterparts and talk about NBA.
Yeah, even commentating and stuff like that.
It's very important to see representation.
That's it. It matters. And you're even seeing, like, again, we talk about legacy. Even in WNBA, you're seeing the Sparks, you're seeing Neka and all of her sisters. You're seeing that legacy come through of the fact that, like, the same genes that can build championship players, it happens in women too. And the story can get told across the league. So that's really nice to see too.
What about your journey, Shaq?
Getting a scholarship to play in America amongst the best players in the world. You know, like the likes of Paige Wilson, a lot of WNBA players that are in the league now. You know, I played a lot of them in college, and a lot of them are also playing in Europe. So when I played in Europe last season, I was playing against them, and it's just like the face of WNBA. You know, it's not just in America, but it's also in Europe.
Thoughts on women in basketball?
Where do we start? For me, I used to play football, so I was a football player. Obviously, we're in the UK, so football is really all you see, especially if you're in London as well. So it's quite hard to get away from. And I grew up watching people play basketball at the park, and just always sort of got involved. So back then, as you would have called it, street ball, concrete floors, that sort of thing. And then started playing like different games. I was always like a sort of console person, and I just decided that I didn't really want to play football anymore. I wanted to start playing basketball. So I learnt to play at Brentwood Fire. So that was my experience of playing National League. So I just started there, and actually, in terms of what got me to really love the game, it was like it was the tournaments. It was Who's Got Game. Do you remember Who's Got Game? Yeah. Before we had like Midnight Madness and all of that stuff, Who's Got Game was really the thing that I think I spent most summers just there watching, thinking, yeah, this is me. Football's not for me.
I started basketball quite late, to be honest. My mum put like a lot of sports on my platter, so I decided I didn't want to do any. And I wanted to do like acting and modelling, but my mum says you gotta like do one. So basketball was introduced to me in PE, like in year 7. So from there I was like, you know what, I like basketball, mum. So I started at Lewisham Thunder, and then from there it just took a big part of my life so quick, like going over to Spain at like 13, like so young, and growing to like love the game and have it just be your life. Like I just don't know, like my friends weren't doing the things I was doing, so it was just like so different. And then when I would come home for summer and I didn't find myself playing basketball, I was like, what's going on there? Like it just seemed so weird. So every summer's impactful with basketball stuff as well as the season. So yeah, that's how it kind of started, just like quite late, but still so much.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah,
yourself,
so I got into basketball because I have older siblings who are avid watchers. And then I discovered Rondell, and from there on I just decided Boston Celtics were my team, and I just continued rooting for them.
So I'm 6'3". So, when I was younger, I was taller than the boys in my class and the girls, and it wasn't really introduced in primary school. So it wasn't until secondary school that there was a coach and was like, oh, you should try out for the basketball team. And I was really bad when I first started.
You weren't that bad.
No, I was bad.
We played on the same team
I was
when
bad.
we were younger.
I was bad.
Camp, but you were good then.
So I play with Paige. We play for London, and we also play on the national team. I actually have just moved back home after 10 years overseas. I went to school in America and then played 5 years professional in Europe, and decided to come back home.
What would you describe yourself as in terms of the basketball scope?
I would like to say I'm an expert, but you guys will be the judge of that.
We'll judge of that. I know you've probably got everything covered with Boston. So
Yeah.
And what about yourself, Ola?
Watcher, massive Bucks fan. More so because I'm a player fan. I'm a Ade Tokunbo fan. I'll say his name properly because he's Nigerian. Still playing. Hopefully we'll be back this season in the London League. So yeah.
Player. Watch sometimes. I can't say I watch all the time now, but it's just like, yeah, when you finish playing, what you want to do is sleep. So there's nothing else you want to do apart from that, or you're watching Scout, or you're eating food, or you're sleeping. There's nothing else to your life apart from that. So watching NBA games at 1 o'clock in the morning is a luxury, because you must have something in, it has to be your team, or it has to be like some reason why you're up at that time, because being like a professional athlete is so hard. Your day is like fully done. There's no more energy for anything else.
That reminds me of when I was younger, I was a massive Chicago Bulls fan, and that was due to Derrick Rose and Michael Jordan, and that's how I got into playing basketball and loving the game. And I would be up until like 3 o'clock in the morning. That was like my go-to time. And so the mornings going to college and things like that, it just be like, use my first lesson as a nap time.
I don't know.
It's difficult being a fan in the UK.
No, it is, because I don't know how Shequila feels, but like when I was in America, and normally like dinner time, it would be like basketball. Right. So it's like you could watch the games then. And when I come back here, it's just like, so what a weird life. It just seems like you're in a whole different world, because
I'm
it's just
living
like
in American time zone right now.
Yeah.
So now we're going over to our gaming segment. So how are you ladies feeling about that?
Confident.
Bring it on.
I feel like Shaq's
I mean, my name. Hello.
Shaq.
You've just got to hold circle, I guess.
See, I can only dunk on 2K, so bring it on.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay.
No comment.
Let's go. So now we're into our gaming segment. We have Team Paige and Shequila with Team LeBron, and we have Team Ola and Aiman with Team Legends. I just want to add, these are the professionals here. the professional basketball players
On the court.
Let's see who has the skills on the game. May I just add, nobody's picked Michael Jordan. Very interesting. But let's see who's got the skills on the court. 2K22, let's kick it off.
Need to concentrate.
Let's get it.
How do we? Okay.
Paige, come on now.
Do you know the control?
Wait, who is that? Kobe already schooling you guys.
Oh shit. Okay.
1 up to
Whoa,
the legends.
Right here. Oh no, that's you.
Where's your defense? Come on, guys.
Wait, that wasn't us.
Yes, it was.
No. Guys.
Shaq, come on, man.
It's too easy.
Why was
Okay, how do you not make it like how do you?
I'm so it's too easy for them. They're just watching already.
Sorry, it's only 2-1.
How come you have the ball?
What happened?
Off.
What's going
Oh wait,
on?
what is going on?
How come you even have the ball?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
LeBron,
Shequila.
where are you going?
Shequila, play defense.
All right, I'm ready. All right, it's my ball.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to dunk.
Okay,
No, I
legends.
didn't.
Play defense. I thought you guys have the skills up in here.
Oh,
Are you
come on,
not?
defense.
Team.
I think
Okay, but what are the buttons
let
for the
them have
defense?
it.
Oh, I just don't know. What is the
Rebound.
Oh, did you get it?
Yeah.
Oh no, you didn't.
Get
Can I get
rebound.
it? Oh yeah, I got
There you
it.
go.
Defense,
You have to take it out. You have to take it out.
Take it out.
You have to take it out. You have to
Oh,
take it out. Move it.
How do I get
Go
out?
back.
How do I get
There you
out?
go. There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, it's
We're
like
out.
real 2-on-2.
Oh,
Yeah,
I made it back. I made it back.
Wow.
Get ready now.
We don't play defense, we're too small.
You guys did pick a straight team.
You guys forgot you were playing.
Why are you shot like that?
That was
Embarrassing.
me.
5-3 to the legends.
What?
You
Why
guys
did
don't
you?
have
Oh.
You just let him.
Brooke.
Oh. No.
Wow.
But it's because he's got sweats on. He's not ready.
Yeah.
He's not ready
Is
for
it cold
the
out?
You know what it is? It's because we're also both wearing white, so it's actually a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
I just.
LeBron,
Why
stop
are you leaving
spinning
me
like
to
that.
shoot?
Oh, get it. Oh, that's out.
Who's that?
Nobody's
What's
playing
that
defense up in here.
How do you play defense?
Just smash the buttons.
Oh, okay.
There you go. In front.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Hey, I thought you guys had all the talk. What's going on?
Why is she?
You said smash all the buttons. This is. Oh wow.
See, this is why I
Who's
have to
Kobe?
sit on the sidelines. You
Oh,
guys
it's
weren't ready
Kyrie.
for the skills I was about to bring to the game.
Oh, do you see that part? Why'd you pass it back to
no,
me?
stay with your player.
Shoot the ball.
You guys get a bit of
There you go,
rebound.
rebound.
That was never
You got it back.
Wow.
What's the score?
7-5.
We've actually scored. I don't know. Come on, guys. We're terrible.
Oh, it was off. Rebound.
Anyway, our ball. How do you shoot again?
What is it, first attempt?
This whole time you've not been.
Dude, you guys should be
Help,
embarrassed.
help,
These
help,
ones are.
All right,
You
defense.
know,
Come on, Shaq.
I'm
free and free.
converting my low team.
Yeah,
I'm over to this side.
I just thought I had to get them back.
We're
Go,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, yes. In front. Stay in front. Stay in front.
Yeah.
If they get, just call your help. Call your help.
It's 8-7.
Yeah, because
You guys need to fix up.
Oh, Shequila.
LeBron.
Oh, where
You should have been similar
I'm not
down
even
there.
on the court. Where have I
Stop.
gone?
I'll take that.
I was sweating.
Right under the basket.
That was a bit rude.
Uh-oh.
Brick.
Ah, Kobe.
Out. Take out. Take out.
That don't count. There's no way.
No,
If
no,
they
I have to
shoot.
go, yeah.
Yeah.
Stay with them. Just like that.
Cash.
9-8.
There's no
Oh.
It's going in. Oh, turned around as well.
Even though-
way. The light
You guys
went
are
green.
feeling
That was pretty
yourself
sick.
now.
Oh, hold on. I'll see ya. I'm not turning like this. Like I'm in.
There you go.
But where's my
you
player
go.
Where are
going?
your defenders?
I went to the KFC. clearly.
Is it not screaming? Come on.
I like this game. There's no 3-second call.
Oh wow.
Yeah, James camping.
Oh,
Rebound.
but couldn't get the.
You have to take it
I'm
out.
sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, scream. Screaming. What happened there?
Fouled.
Kobe fouled. Get it together, Kobe.
It's easy. You just have the basket there.
Rebound. That's you. Iverson.
You got it.
There you go.
How'd you get rebounds?
That's a layup.
Oh.
So today we're going to discuss what's happening in All-Star Weekend, day 2.
Okay, I see what's going on
A
there.
little NBA quiz.
Lakers. I said the buzzword.
It was me. It was definitely me.
What's up? But what happened to your defense?
My defense.
First of all, I'm on fire. Do you not see the fire emoji? Unlocking.
Go.
All the way.
There you go.
Look at the crowd
Too
going
small, too
wild.
small.
Yeah.
Check it out. Pass it. Paige,
It
pass
went.
it. Paige, I'm open. Paige, I'm open. Oh my gosh. Paige, give me that.